Derek.
Rumor has it.
PlayStation 5 Pro, codename Project Trinity, coming November 2024.
So why do they keep doing this, by the way? Because, a couple weeks ago we talked about the slim version with like the rumored detachable disc drive, and now it's like it's just like a PS4 all over again. They announced the slim and the pro around the same time. Looks like they're gonna do that again, I guess. Um, in every generation of PlayStation consoles, Sony has always released different iterations of its newest hardware. For the first three generations of PlayStation, that looked like releasing a slim version of the launch console. The PS4 got a slim version, but it also got a PS4 Pro version, a better version of the base console that promised the best possible PlayStation experience to players with stronger hardware. That Sony has a PS5 Pro in the works has been a long running rumor, though it looks like the rumor is now picking up pace as the console is allegedly real, codenamed Project Trinity, and it's targeting a launch in November of 2024. It's also alleged this new Pro version of the PS5 will hit more consistent frame rates at 4K, support accelerated ray tracing, and even be able to support 8K through a new performance mode. Developers are said to begin receiving development kits for the PS5 Pro this coming November. While it's likely that Sony could find a market for a PS5 Slim model, which is also allegedly on the way, it's a bigger question if the same will be true for a PS5 Pro. A more expensive version of an already expensive console, with marketing buzzwords like 8K resolution that can't really make good on the promise, especially when no games are optimized for those high resolutions, and 8K TVs are still very far off from being the common TV set you'd find in your own home or your friend's house.
Yeah, that's it's like, oh, it's got 8K, it's got all of this. It's
Right.
like I don't even use ultra high definition.
Right.
Like, I don't even have that option right now. Like, my TV that I have in my house is still from when I first started teaching. I bought that TV.
Yeah.
I don't buy new TVs. Like, I
No.
buy a TV and then it just lasts. Like the one that I had in college,
Yeah.
it literally still works. I gave it to my nephew like a few years ago. Still works.
Yeah.
So it like, to me, like, yes, a pro version is always nice because like it allows developers to keep pushing past what we normally get or whatever. And
Beyond Plus Ultra.
Exactly. It elongates the life cycle and everything, but I feel like Sony is muddying the water so much.
Yep.
So much. And I titled this episode, PlayStation will regret this. And this is what I'm talking about, is that PlayStation is literally, like, I know they're trying to future proof and all of this kind of stuff.
Right.
Between this Project Q, the live services, the slim model, it's
the access controller,
the PSVR 2 or virtual reality 2, which is properly called. Like, all of these things are out there and it's like, okay, that's great, but you're getting so far away from what makes you good. And that is story-based gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's like,
you can make all this tech. If you don't have the games, no one will buy it.
Exactly. And we've seen, moving into the next few years, 60% of development is going to live services. And it's like, you're not dancing with the one that brought you. And you're now finally getting consoles out there. I know we talked about the PS5 Slim model 2 weeks ago a lot and everything. It's like, you're finally getting consoles out there. People are finally buying them. I talked about it in one of the shorts that I made, that they are year over year tripling sales the last few years because more consoles are getting out there. Scalpers are not able to do what they were doing and everything. But it's like, when you stop making the games that people want to play, and that's why PlayStation is so good. Okay. It's not because, Sony just has the magic sauce. It's like, no, Xbox runs as well as a PlayStation. That's just true. All right. I will fight you on that. It runs pretty much the same. All right. You might have a different UI, but they run the same.
You might be able to squeeze more out of the graphics and everything, but that's about it.
Yeah. The only thing that separates them is PlayStation has constantly put out amazing titles. Xbox, the thing that people complain about, guess what? Isn't the console. It isn't this. It isn't that. It is the games.
Yep.
It is the games. You haven't got a new Gears of War in years. Halo was great at the beginning, and then it just,
Yeah.
you know, but we haven't got amazing games.
Eventually, those dominoes will start falling, though.
Yeah, and it's like you see it with Xbox. They are holding their breath, hoping that Starfield is going to be the savior.
Yeah.
They're hoping.
Their first bank shot was Redfall, and we already know how that went.
Yeah. And Sony, on the other hand, they've been riding on God of War, Last of Us, Horizon, and it's like, okay, what's the next thing?
Spider-Man 2.
Okay, we got Spider-Man 2. What's the next thing? All right, you might get Wolverine, but we might get Ghost 2, but do we get more sequels? Do we get new IPs?
Yeah.
Or are we fixing to get shoved down our throat live services, which we are?
Yeah. Like when we already see for Naughty Dog, that's giving them an issue.
Yeah, and looking at the showcase, the PlayStation showcase, they showed several live services games, and I'm just like, this ain't it, dog.
Nope.
This ain't it.
Nope.
Like, I'm not interested in it at all. So I feel like Sony is stepping in it hardcore with a lot of these decisions, and it's like you are making money hand over fist by just making great games. And you might not be able to, you're not making that crazy GTA money.
Yeah.
All right. You know, you want to make crazy GTA money, you got to make a GTA quality game. There's a reason why GTA 5 has literally been around since 2013. It's because it's a good game.
Yeah.
From the get-go, it was a good game.
Yeah. Right.
And I don't Go ahead.
It made crazy money from the get-go. Like, what was it, $1 million in 3 days or whatever it was?
Yeah, it was crazy. And now this, like, looking at this, like, you know, PS5, and I know I'm slamming on the Pro and all of this. It's like we can have all of these things, 8K TVs and all of that. It could do 8K, but if normal people don't have that, it's not going to make them buy the console.
No.
You know, and the thing that makes people buy consoles are games.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, again, that's, go back to the 360 PS3 era. PS3 struggled with games, and that's why it took them till the very end, the 11th hour, to catch up and beat the 360 in sales. PS4 learned from that. Now, granted, did they do a lot of remakes, ports, and, rely on indie games? Yes, but they actually had games. Or Xbox One, you had Rise, Son of Rome, and and then Dead Rising 3, and then Forza Motorsport 5, and that was it.
Yeah, and it was barren for a long time, and thankfully, like looking back at that launch, PlayStation really made indies the go-to on their console and PlayStation 4. And PlayStation 5 launched a much better lineup, much better launch here and everything. And we've seen so many great games, but it's like, okay, we are at the end of like what has been expected. Like Wolverine is literally the last game that we're kind of, expecting